Sit. Back. Sit. Back. One. Sit. Here. Back. One. Heel. Sit. Easy. Back. Get down. One. Get down. Sit. Come on, let's go. Heel. Sit. Heel. Sit down. Sit. Back. Sit. Let's go! Hold. Sit. Heel. Sit. Easy. Go on, get them. Hold. Drop. Heel. Sit. Heel. Back. Sit.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday night live stream. Mike Hurd with you, your host here at the Black Blizzard Retrievers, and Mike Hurd. Starting a new project now, I guess. So we're going to be taking a look at senior hunt test content, and I've got some videos, actually some timely videos. Look like there was a hunt test. I'm assuming it was in the Pacific Northwest, and I'm going to take a look at some YouTube videos that were released. And I got three good prime examples, three different examples of how things went for three contestants at this hunt test, and some interesting tidbits I want to share with you about that as well, and just kind of being a backseat quarterback, if you want, if you like, to go over that. But let's take a look at three senior hunt test participants here. The first one, I believe, was a full-on break, and then we're going to move in to how wide marks in the senior can be difficult for some senior dogs, especially when judges recycle junior test marks and then they use those same marks for their senior test. Sometimes if you put out 180-degree test marks from, that's a big swing from one mark to the other. And I'll show you how that may have fouled up a few of the dogs that were running the hunt test. And then we're going to take a look at a really good job there as well. So let's take a look at this first video. And this gal, I believe, it's hard to tell exactly what's going on. But from what I can gather from the audio, this dog had a full-on break. Hopefully you can hear it. So it's a walk-up. Of course, the flyer comes out. Yeah, she's yelling, here, here. So I'm assuming the dog broke. Okay, that's what I got from them. So right there, the dog broke and wasn't a control break, so I'm assuming the dog was out. However, it does appear the judges are going to let her continue to run. So the question is, should you actually continue to run, or do you just call it, let's stop the video right there. Should you call it quits right here? If you had a controlled break, what are you going to gain by continue running this test? You're already out if you had a controlled break. Or I'm sorry, if you had a break, not a control break. If you had a break and you continue to run, is it beneficial for you and the dog? And I think in this case, the dog actually does a pretty good job on the memory bird. We'll let this play out for a second. He goes right out there and gets it. So, I mean, the dog had two good marks. However, you're out. I mean, you had a break. You're out. Anyway, so do you run for the training of it or not? And in this particular case, I think this was a huge mistake for this gal to continue to run. And one of the reasons I say that is because of how she ran the blind. And she's going to come out and line the dog up, and she's going to have a very difficult time getting the dog to look past where that mark was at. So, I mean, dog walks real nice up to the line, doesn't really appear to be out of control, but I mean, it did break on the flyer. And it's going to take a minute or two to get the dog's attention away from that mark. Anytime she pulls him in, the dog just wants to go back to where that mark was at. And so we're going to launch the dog. Stop, turn around, look, that's good, but she's going to cast left, dog goes right. Stop, cast left, dog goes right. So there's two cast refusals. Stop for the third time, cast left, dog goes right. There's three cast refusals. So even if you didn't have the break, I mean, you'd be in real jeopardy here because the dog returned to an old fall. never ever return to an old fall. So we're yelling here. The dog is just gonna ignore the gal and run out there, and eventually finds the blind. So now you just cement it into this dog's brain a bad habit. You know, it's okay to ignore mom and yeah. So if I had a control break, I would not have continued that with my dog because I don't want to teach it bad habits, and that's one of the pitfalls in the senior. All right, now this gal, let's see if I can get play here. Bear with me. Okay. This is an example of when you have great big wide marks. So if you recycle your junior marks, which I'm assuming, I don't know this for sure. Okay, there's your walk up. Now that dog is not looking at the flyer. And I did not hear a quack, quack, quack out of that live gun station either. So this dog is not looking at the flyer. So the handler does a smart thing here and just kicks the dog off towards the first mark. It does pretty good. Gorgeous dog. But if this happens to you, you need to mark where that flyer lands. And that's a big thing in the hunt test on flyers. You should try and mark because they land anywhere and everywhere. So we're going to, she's going to try, she just kicks the dog off. And then we're going to lose sight of the dog here, I believe. But the dog finally comes up with the bird. And I don't believe it's out there for too long. And for the fact that the dog really, I don't know if the dog saw it or not, because that dog's attention was not going to come off that walk-up first mark. Yep, got it. Okay, so we're feeling pretty good. Let's see if I can fast forward here. So we're going to go back in the hold'em blind. They're going to plant the blind. We're going to come back out, and we're going to try and get a land blind in here. And the dog is actually, yeah, so that's the pitfall when you try and bring them up like that. They want to go look back towards that mark was. She's got an interesting way to launching off the blind. Looks like she's literally going to shoot from the hip. Nice stop. Good handle. Yep. Staying under control. And kind of lose sight, but I do believe the dog did a pretty good job here. And eventually gets it. So that I thought that was a pretty decent job. And this is the other video I want everyone to pay attention to. This is a walk-up scenario. And if I was out hunting in a walk-up scenario, I would not be shouldering the gun the entire time. And this handler is going to do just that. And these are toy wooden guns. So you can see he's got that gun.
So how old's your dog?
First of all, he's holding it with one hand. And you never do that. So if you had a real gun, you'd be holding that with two hands. I might be getting a little nitpicky, but again, you know, I think in the realm of gun safety, you really shouldn't be doing that with the gun. Yeah, there's a duck call. Yep, nice fire. I mean, you could almost cite the guy for trying to point out the guns, although there's a hold'em blind, both of them, they're sticking out like sore thumb. But on a walk-up like that, you should be in the military stance, I think is what they call it, or the gun's just in both hands, And then when the bird goes off, that's when you shoulder the gun and simulate that you shot at it. This dog, I believe, does a pretty good job on the tests overall. So, I mean, the only really negative thing I had to is the way this gentleman was handling the gun. This is typical too in most seniors though. This is a great habit to get into, is to have the dog hold the bird while you walk back into the holding blind. Okay, let's see if I can fast forward. They plant the blind, we're gonna come back out. Dog walks real nice in the hill position here. Not out of control. It's a little bit ahead of the handler, but it's not bad. Yeah, nice line. I believe they do a pretty good job overall. So again, just being a little nitpicky, it's the gun thing that, you know, it stood out to me anyway, the way the handler was handling the gun. And some judges can get really bugged up about that. Okay, and then we have this gal. Play. Again, a walk up. See how she holds that gun? Perfect. Nice walk up. Now, I want to stop right there. Hang on. Again, wide marks. So she's turned and looked at the flyer, but the dog has not. And boy, that can be a nerve-wracking thing. And this is where, you know, it's a new ball game from going from junior to senior, because the dog has not learned really well how to turn with you. And you need to practice that. But I do believe the dog, it's hard to tell because the camera goes off, but I don't hear a lot of quacking coming off that flyer station, but I do believe the dog saw the flyer. Yeah, eventually turns. But that holding blind, as you walk up to the line, I wonder if that's obscuring the flyer station a little bit. Real nice flyer. Wasn't out there too long. Yep, nice delivery. Back her up. Yep. And I do believe it comes up, yeah, short order. So very good marking overall. I would be very, very happy with that. And again, well, you can collect the bird down, hand it off. Dog stays relatively under control, walking back into the holding blind. They're going to come out and plant the blind. Let's see if we can fast forward past that part. Oop. And she's going to come back out. Again, walking pretty good at heel. Taking your time. Dog's looking back at the mark. There you go. Dog's a little hesitant, but yeah, I think it was almost ready to pop, and she turned around and gave it a whistle. But I think within just a couple of whistles and a couple of casts, she ends up getting the blind retrieve really well. So again, there's four different examples of a senior hunt test that was ran just this past weekend, I believe. I think that's up in Carnation, Washington. It looks a lot like Carnation. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. I did see that pop up in my YouTube feed, and the gentleman that had that only had a few views, so I thought I'd share that on tonight's live stream this evening. So I got 3 of you on here. How's everybody doing? How you're training, and what hunt tests have you been running? Let me know. Just put a little shout out there into the chat window. As you do that, we'll take a look at the Black Blizzard Retrievers YouTube channel, and we have grown to almost 779 subscribers in there. So that's fantastic. Thank you all for being a part of this channel, and hopefully you're learning a thing or two. Again, I've been extremely busy working on the Amateur Retriever Academy app, and there's a YouTube channel on that app. So just search the Amateur Retriever Academy, and it'll take you to the YouTube page, and you'll see some of the videos of what the app can do. And I just added a brand new feature in here. Was it last time we were talking? I'm not sure, but in the app, well, let me just play the video and let's dive into the Amateur Retriever Academy app. And here we go again with an incredible, powerful feature embedded in the app. I created 2 new desired outcomes. You're looking for desired outcome. You're using this app to help you train your dog, and it's going to help you stay on track step by step to reach your goals of either getting a junior started title, a seasoned senior title, or a master finish title, and of course into the field trial world as well. And let's dive in here, and we're going to take a look at River. Is one of my dogs, and I have 3 dogs listed up there that I have created on the top of the app. Now, if you go into River's profile, you can see he has goals to run AKC Master and HRC Finished. And you can do that through the edit profile when you create the dog's profile when you initially put it in, or you can go back and edit it later. But the 2 top buttons are the ones I want you to pay very, very close attention to. It's the training roadmap and the readiness score. So the training roadmap for River, because he is getting ready to run Master here probably in the next 3 to 6 months. And this will give you a step-by-step training program. With any program, whether you're starting junior, senior, master, it always begins with basic training. That's the core of all retriever training, regardless if you're running hunt test or field trials. So that'll take you through a step-by-step basic program. Once you finish that, it'll gray out. And I finished the intermediate part with River, so that's grayed out. So we've accomplished those 2 tasks over the last 2 years. So, you know, we've taken our time and we're doing our due diligence. Now, the other thing in here is the advanced training section. So you got basic, intermediate, and advanced. Once you complete those, then it's a little easier to dive in some of the higher level dog training events like Master and Finish. But right now I'm doing this in conjunction. So I'm going through the advanced training section. It's a 12-week foundation program and a 24-week Master Finished step-by-step program. So what's in here? Let me click on the Master Finish section, and you can see once you check these off with a green mark, a line appears, and it's a 24-week program in here. Once you complete that, you don't have to do it in 24 weeks. Some of you probably do it a lot faster than that if you have time. But once you complete that, then you can come over to the readiness score. And right now, River is about 21% ready to run a master hunt test. So we're far from accomplishing our goals, and we're hoping to get this cranked out over the next 3 to 4 months. And that way we can get ready to run and succeed at the master level. And that's the most important. It sucks to go into a master and fail time and time again. You have to have a plan. You have to follow a plan. You have to have solid, good training in your dog. And this app is going to do exactly that for you. It's going to help give you the desired outcome. That's why I created this thing. I wanted to help my fellow dog trainers out there succeed at the hunt test and field trial game. And this is just one feature of the Amateur Retriever Academy app. Just one. There's a lot of great stuff in here. You want to keep track of all your training sessions, that's in the app, in the log training session. You can have training maps, and I've got a lot of videos on that. That's a powerful map feature that's embedded in the app. You have guides that are in there. Guides will walk you through what the bullet points are for junior, senior, master. Again, on the HRC, the CKC, the SRS is in there as well. Of course, you have Ask Rex. That's your AI professional retriever trainer in your hip pocket. If you run into trouble, he will help you out with any question you have, especially with rules and regulations. All the rules and regulations are embedded in this app, and you can ask Rex. And then another powerful feature is the troubleshooting session. So if you rate your dog and you follow the log sessions accurately, and you're very brutally honest with every training session you give your dog. If you have a 1-star or 2-star training sessions, if you have a handful of those, you can ask Rex to analyze all the data that you put into the app, and it's going to spit out some suggestions to help improve your dog's mistakes. How cool is that? And it won't cost you anything. It's just $10 a month. And then the training core principles is another great feature of the app. And if you continue down, you can see recent training sessions, and it'll continue just to fill in on the bottom of the app all your training sessions. You can go back and look at them, and again, download them as a PDF. Again, I'm rambling off, but there's a lot of great content in this app. Take advantage of it. It's free for 7 days. Download it for free for 7 days. Take a look at it. Cruise around in here. Enjoy it. Give me some feedback. I'd love to continue to enhance this to help you with your training goals. And after 7 days, it's only a cup of coffee. It's going to cost you a month to continue using it. All right, guys, that's the Amateur Retriever Academy app. Download it. Yeah, again, it's free to download. It's free for 7 days, so you can take a look at it, and then you can decide if you like it or not. And again, I encourage you to do so. Right now, as of today, it's only available on the Apple App Store. That's about to change for the Google side. We've got 3 to 4 more days of testing. That's required by Google. It has to go through a 14-day test cycle. But once everyone has done testing it, that should be up on the Google side for Android phones as well, hopefully sometime next week. And you can check that out in the app stores and download it and take a look for both Apple and Android. But again, right now, as of today, it's only live in the Apple App Store. Not yet, soon to be out on the Google Play Store for you folks out there with Android phones. All right, guys, that's all I have for you tonight. Thanks for tuning in. And of course, a lot of y'all watch the content after the live stream, which is great. And we're going to have a fresh new video out this coming Sunday. And again, we're going to start doing some senior content, and we're going to talk about the 5 biggest reasons amateurs fail at the senior hunt test. And we're going to go into in-depth discussion on that. And again, that's coming up this Sunday here on the channel. Have a good night, and I'll see you next Thursday. And again, good training and good luck at the hunt test if you're going to one this weekend. See you next time.